Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Stern, coaching Team Shadow Strike, and this is going to be a Q&A video. It's been a while since I've answered y'all's questions. I do have some to answer, so I figured I'd go ahead and do that. First one comes from from Magician of Black Addicts. He is asking, what is the best direction for Gold Paladin at this moment, or the best focus, I think he said. And the answer to that question is, in my honest opinion, the new Gold Paladin stuff from set 3, mainly the stride breaker, stride bonus card, the grade 3, whatever you want to call it, Gungranute or something like that. He's really good. The new support as well is really good. The G unit Spear Cross is going to be really good. But in all honesty, the Bluish Flames are still my pick for the best Gold Paladin archetype. Prominence Glare being able to carry an extra crit with a glory skill is very, very dangerous. Also, with set 3, Bluish Flame gets some real good support, and it will cost you absolutely nothing to upgrade this deck with just the basic cards for the main deck. You will need 4 copies of the new critical trigger that basically does the same thing as the Aglavale that searches out your grade 3s. The one that mates with Glare, and it returns to the deck. It's a critical trigger when it's called. You look at the top 4 or 5, and you get to look for a Bluish Flame. That is absolutely stupid. This does nothing but fuel your Glare skill. Then you look at the new grade 2 you're getting. An ability that for every time that a unit is superior called, it gains the ability to gain 2,000 power and to unflip 1 damage. What this means is if you superior call 4 units off the top of your deck that turn, this unit will receive 8,000 extra power and be able to unflip 4 damage if it attacks and hits. That is dumb. This gives Bluish Flames now a quick and easy way to basically reset their damage, which when you give Bluish Flames the ability to do that, that makes them deadly dangerous. Or deadly dangerous-er, if that's even a word. But also with the new Perfect Guard, you could now take out the Liberator Perfects and put in the Unflipping Perfect if you wanted to playtest that. I know I'm going to. Then you look at the grade 3, the G unit that is a triple rare, Golden Dragon, Spear Cross Dragon. This is a viable option for even Bluish Flames because the superior calling off the top of the deck does nothing but help this deck plus. If you have Brunos on the field, it only increases their power. If you're building up a formation to go in with Glare for the next turn, it only makes that better. So there's lots of things that you can do. I don't foresee Spear Cross being worth a lot of money. He's probably going to be around the $20, $25 range when the set drops on Friday, but I think if you were to give it about a week to 10 days, you're going to see the card fall to about $13. And this is a very cheap card compared to other G units that are in this set that honestly does nothing but helps Bluish Flames succeed even more. So, not that I'm saying the Gold Paladin stuff from set 3 that's not Bluish Flame is not good. That's not the case. I'm going with Bluish Flames for the simple power of being able to gain crits with Glory skill and have a Bruno behind it and being able to launch attacks that are high as 40-some thousand with 2 extra crits and a Glory skill. That's pretty dumb, especially in the late game when your opponent is going to have a hard time dealing with that if their hand is small. So that's my opinion on it. I hope that answers your question. Magician of Black Addicts, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But while the new Gold Paladin support from set 3 is good, and even with the new Azel support from the Fighters Collection, those decks can at least be, you can at least make an argument that those decks could work, but I think Bluish Flames is miles ahead of them just for the fact of that Glory skill, that extra crit, and the swarming power that deck has. Now, of course, there's a lot of new swarm power for just the regular Gold Paladins out of set 3, but the Bluish Flames, in my opinion, are still the best. So, if I were you, I would go with Bluish Flames. So I'm scrolling through here to look at all your questions. If you guys remember on my last Q&A, I kind of had a little bit of a rant to get out of my system, and a lot of you guys gave me really good support, and I do appreciate that. So for all of you who, I'm scrolling through it right now, people like Siren Frost, Austin Till, Nolan Brooks, um, Kaiser Gray RS, that's been one of my biggest supporters. Joshua from my locals, and Alex Cruz, and Geocon. I mean, I recognize all your, and even Luminio Bladder. I recognize all your names because I read every comment you guys put. So when you guys say something to me like that, it doesn't just go in one ear out the other. I really digest what you guys say to me because I want to make my videos as enjoyable as possible for you. So when you guys give me support, or you say, whatever it is, it really does mean quite a bit. So please understand that. I do realize sometimes, maybe I word things bad, and I never intend to hurt anybody, but it's like, uh, I just really, I think it's awesome the support that you guys give me. And if I've ever said anything that has offended anybody out there, unless it was, you know, I never mean to hurt anybody's feelings unless they're purposely trying to piss me off. Then but if I've ever said something about a card you liked, or a clan, or an archetype, it's all in good fun, guys. Don't think I'm being dead serious. If you need proof of this, go look at Siren. Me and Siren, we've known each other, I think, for almost 2 years now, and I have done everything to her Jewel Knights that you could say, and we're cool. We're really good friends, and I mean it, and I even eventually cracked and used some of them, but it's not meaning that I think less of you as a player or a person. It's all in good fun. So whenever you guys do say these things to me and my team, it really means a lot to me, and it really makes us happy. So thank you for those of you who always leave feedback, because it really does mean a lot. And whenever I tell you guys to leave feedback, it helps me make videos for you, because there are some times when I want to make videos but I have no freaking clue what to do. But so when you guys give me ideas, it helps me make the videos that you guys want, and it only does more things for you, because that's the whole reason I started this channel, was just to be able to help other players, share my opinions, and connect with other players. So after every video, just take 30 seconds and leave me some feedback and let me know how I'm doing. If there's something you want me to do, please tell me. If there's something you want me not to do, do that. Just feel free to always tell me anything. I don't mind. Next question comes from Drygo. What do you think of that last play in the Super Bowl that happened, the dreadful Seahawks mistake? Well, Drago, like I've always said, guys, in these Q&As, you can leave me any kind of question related. Vanguard, sports is one of my big things, gaming, music, food, TV, I don't care. I'll answer any question you leave. And Drago, I hate the Patriots with every bit of my being. And now, in light of this new Tom Brady deflate gate, or whatever you're calling it, well, first let me answer this question. I think Pete Carroll is an amazing football coach. I am a huge USC fan. And I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. You're that close to the end zone, and you have one of the best power running backs in the league, in Marshawn Lynch, who is a first-class asshole, but he is big time. He produces. I don't like Marshawn Lynch as a person, but I respect the hell out of him as a running back, because he has been able to prove that he can put his money where his mouth is when it's crunch time. And I don't understand why Pete Carroll thought, I would rather pass the ball when we are literally feet from the end zone instead of running it. Especially with that offensive line. You have one of the best offensive lines in the country, or in the league, I guess I should say. This is in college. But you have one of the best offensive lines in the league, and you pass the ball? I don't know what he was thinking. I think that's going to be something that haunts him for the rest of his career. But it was stupid. Now, after hearing everything about Deflategate, I think the Patriots should be stripped of the Super Bowl, and it should be just vacated. I don't think it should be given to the Seahawks. I think they should just be stripped of the championship. I'm sorry, I don't care how you look at it. Tom Brady cheated. Now, there are a lot of different arguments out there. Well, those texts were set up, but for those of you who don't know, apparently there is a law that says an NFL football has to weigh a certain size, and there were texts that leaked, and if you don't believe me, you can look this up. They're out there if you really want to see what he wrote. Tom Brady supposedly, and has been proved to have texted out, that he told the ball boy to make the balls lighter. Now, for someone who may not be a football player, let me briefly explain what this does. If a ball is lighter, it doesn't, when it is thrown, it doesn't go as far, and it's easier to, it just changes everything. So you can imagine just having a ball being a little lighter, how much it does. And some people are even of the mind frame, oh, it's just the air in the ball. It's not that big a deal. I'm sorry. These are the rules. You play by them. If you go outside them, it's cheating, period. And I don't care, what anyone says. Cheating is cheating. And that's what the Patriots did. And the Patriots won't get punished for it because Robert Kraft has his head. Robert Kraft has Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner's head, so far up his ass that if the NFL commissioner who runs the league was told by this guy to strip naked, climb on top of the stadium, and do the Macarena, he would do it. That's how big of a bitch Roger Goodell is. He would do anything Robert Kraft would say. And that's why nothing is going to come out of this. And all the jokes that people are making about it, that Tom Brady was just a victim of circumstance, I instantly lost respect for all those people. I lost a lot of respect for Seth MacFarlane when he made a joke about it in TED 2. And, because it's clear that he's siding with him, and that makes Seth go way down in my book. I don't care. There are some things that you don't joke about, and I'm sorry, if you cheat to win anything, it's not winning. But I'll stop talking about that. But as far as the mistake of not running the ball, Drago, if he would have just handed it to Marshawn Lynch, the Seahawks would have won. It would have been game over, and game over. And I don't know why he didn't do that. Next question comes from Mystic Blaze E. What are your thoughts on the Final Fantasy VII HD remake, and do you think they should make a new Dissidia game if you've played it? And if you have not, you should buy it. It's $3 online, plus it's my fave game of all time. Okay, we'll first tackle this for the lesser subject, Dissidia. Not to insult you, Mystic Blaze E, because I do like Dissidia. Should they make a new Dissidia? I think it would be a smart choice. I think Dissidia, it may not be one of the more popular choices in the group, but I do feel Dissidia is deserving of it. I haven't played Dissidia a whole lot, but I have played it enough to where I appreciate it. I loved it. I played through the game. But as far as it being... This is what Square Enix does, and they are real picky about remakes or continuing series. I think what hurts Dissidia's chances of getting another game is the Final Fantasy 13 fiasco. They came out with Final Fantasy 13, which was a good game, the first one, even though the final boss was fucking long, and some of the hallways you had to walk down looked like they just never fucking ended. But when they made 2 sequels, that hurt their credibility a lot. And now when they continue certain games with sequels, I think that's going to hurt their credibility. But I think if Dissidia did get another game, I think it would do fine. I don't think it would, be the blockbuster of the year or anything, but I do think it would be a good thing to do. And I will definitely agree with you, Mystic Blaze. For anyone out there who has played Final Fantasy VII, you need to play Dissidia. It's $3, so worst case scenario, you play it, you don't like it, you wasted $3. But now on to Final Fantasy VII HD Remake. I wanted to do a live recording of me watching E3. First off, for E3, there is a lot of games out there that I am going to be wanting to play. But they finally showed us a little more of Kingdom Hearts 3. They showed us the world of Tangled, which I fucking hate that they showed us that. It's like, can't you show us something cool? I'm sorry, guys. I like Disney. I like a cheesy Disney movie, but Tangled sucked. I'm sorry. Rapunzel is one of the stupidest. I'm sorry. I wish. Don't get me wrong. The graphics looked absolutely amazing. They looked beautiful. But I wish they would have shown us like Treasure Planet. I would have rather have seen a world that is going to look cool. Not Tangled. But still no release date. Square Enix. I'm sorry, I don't fucking understand what is taking them so goddamn long to produce this game, but I've already talked about that quite a bit, so I'm not going to continue, but it was nice that they at least mentioned Kingdom Hearts 3. At least then that means that they're at least doing something. But then, when you started seeing images, and then you see Midgar, and then you see Barrett's arm, and the machine gun, and then Cloud's sword, and it's like, oh my god, guys, I cannot... Mystic Blaze, I cannot describe the feeling that I got. I was doing this 8-way phone call, and 3 or 4 of them started crying. Keep in mind, guys, Final Fantasy VII. It is the game that revolutionized RPGs. It is one of the most popular games of all time. If you have not played Final Fantasy VII, you have a PlayStation 3, you need to go right now. Literally, you need to get up out of your chair or wherever you're sitting watching this video. You need to carry the device if it's a handheld device that you're watching this on, or just leave your computer on and go over to your PlayStation 3. You need to turn it on. You need to go to the PlayStation store and you need to purchase Final Fantasy VII and you need to play this. This is one, if you claim that you are a gamer, you need to play this at least once. There is not one area that Final Fantasy VII doesn't cover. One thing that Final Fantasy VIIs have been known to do is they take one theme and they run with it. Like Final Fantasy X, for instance. It was a love story. And then... actually, there's a love story in all of them. But it seems like there's one theme, and that's what they continue to beat through all of them. But Final Fantasy VII... there is not one thing that they don't hit on. They hit on family issues. They hit on love. They hit on lost memories and lost friends and betrayal and revenge and every emotion you can think of. If you need proof that Final Fantasy VII, you guys see me wear this bracelet all the time, that's what this is from. you need proof this game is supersedes. Give me 1 second, guys. You need proof that this game supersedes. This Final Fantasy game has a movie, a sequel to the game. It has a prequel, and I cannot explain enough how much this game has changed gaming, and how much it's given the. This is the whole reason that Final Fantasy VII has continued. Because in my honest opinion, the stretch for Final Fantasy that was its best was 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those were the best stretch that Final Fantasy ever had, because 7, best Final Fantasy there is, period. No argument. 8, you could make a case 8 is second. 9, you could make a case that 9 is second. You could make a case that 10 is second. That is how good that stretch is. And I remember playing 7 for the first time, and me and the people who was in this 8-way phone call was like, we were talking about the scenes that we grew up with on crappy PlayStation 1 graphics, and we're going to get to see them on the PlayStation 4 in an HD remake. Now keep in mind, this was before voiceover. You had to read to play your games. You had to work at it. And trying to get around on that world map, it was a fucking nightmare unless you got the hang of it. Thankfully, I did, but it took me a little bit. But I have now played through Final Fantasy VII, guys, so much. I actually just beat it again the other day. There's nothing wrong with this game, except the world map. They could have made that a little easier to navigate. But once you get the hang of it, it's tedious, but it's manageable. But there is not one facet of this game that you can look at and say, this is a failure. This is a major problem. This is a black mark against the game. There's not one thing. Now people do try and put black marks on this game, but it's because of the story. And it's like, well, the story parts of it are sad. Deal with it. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but there are a couple of scenes that happen in the game that will bring you to tears. Well, I'll reference them this way. There is a death in the game, and I'm going to say it like that just in case you haven't played Final Fantasy VII and you're going to go try it out. I don't ruin it for you. That if it doesn't at least pull at your heart a little bit, you have no heart, you have no soul. There is a realization in the game where someone realizes their father was a lot more than he thought. He thought his father was a coward. Turns out his father was a hero. And that scene is just absolutely beautiful. It's things like this that make the game absolutely amazing. There's also a lot of comedy. It's just a great overall story. And if you have access to a PlayStation 3, you have got to play this game once. Please do not be one of those people that wait for the remake to finally play it. Play this game the way it was intended. Because there are so many people that I know who had nothing good to say about this game, and now that it's getting remade, they're jumping on the bandwagon. It's like, shut up. But Mystic Blaze, I did a victory lap around my house. I literally jumped out of my chair, ran around my house. I was stoked because we finally get it. It has been 20 years since this game came out. We have been waiting for this since the PlayStation 3. And the fact they finally give us what we want. They give us Final Fantasy VII in HD Remake, which possibly could have voiceover, more side quests, I can't wait to see what they do. And if you have access to YouTube, you can find this movie probably on YouTube that someone's posted illegally, but hey, it's YouTube. That happens all the time. And you can watch this. It's called Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Even if you've never played the game, it gives you a brief rundown of the game so you can at least enjoy the movie. But after you watch the movie, go watch the game. Or go play the game. The last scene in this movie, guys, I have seen this movie I mean, guys, I don't know if you'll be able to see it really good, but look at that. I have watched this movie so much. It's been cleaned so many times. I've probably watched this movie at least 200 times, and that is not an exaggeration. The last scene in this movie, guys, the final scene, if you played the original game, you played the prequel on the PSP Crisis Core, and you watched this movie, if you just did those three things, maybe read some of the story online as well and more background and maybe some other stuff, but as long as you've played the Final Fantasy VII game, Crisis Core, and you watch this, that last scene, guys, I am not proud. I am not ashamed to say it makes me choke up a little bit because it's just so perfect. And I don't cry at movies, guys. I don't cry at movies. That's rare for me. Rare. I can't even remember the last movie I cried to. But this, the very last scene, will do it to me every single time. So, Mystic Blaze, I am counting the second they give us a definitive date. I will be counting down the days. I will be counting down the hours. I'll be counting down the minutes. And you will probably see a lot of videos on Final Fantasy VII. So if you don't know anything about Final Fantasy VII, maybe if you... So, okay, for those of you who like having stories told to you, if you would like me to do a series of videos basically telling the story of Final Fantasy VII, let me know. And maybe I can do something like that. But I will be doing a lot of videos on Final Fantasy VII, especially when the remake comes out. I can guarantee you that. Let's see here. Okay, next question comes from Geocon. Jaden, can you give some tips on how to work on my channel because I just started to take it more seriously? And what are your thoughts on Mega Colony and its impact on the future of the metagame? P.S. Check out my channel sometime. Geocon, I definitely will check out your channel as soon as I get done filming this video. Actually, I'll go check it out. First off, tips on your channel. Number one, just continue to work at it. When I very first started my channel, it took a while. You know, it takes a while to get your videos out there, to get people to see you and hear your opinions. It takes a while, so don't get stressed out if your videos, when you post them, they don't get a lot of looks right away. I mean, sometimes it still takes a couple days for mine to get completely watched by everyone who watches mine. It just takes time. I try and cover every base in my videos, so just make sure when you do make videos, make sure you don't appear biased, or if you do appear biased on certain subjects, at least suggest why the other side might be not as good or still valid. The ability to see something from both sides is very crucial, not only in this game but in life in general. And as far as what are my thoughts on Mega Colony and its impact on the future metagame, well, we do know in Set 4, Mega Colony will be getting more support. And my teammate Sam is doing cartwheels and for that. Mega Colony is... When the Break Ride came out, people were already starting to throw in the towel and flip out about it. I don't think we've seen anything yet. They already have announced a card that is a grade 1 that when you guard it, it prevents the Vanguard from restanding. So this will hurt anything that restands. So, it's just seeing that one card, I think we're in for because I know Mega Colony has some hardcore fans, and I'm sorry guys, you might consider yourself a hardcore Mega Colony fan, but you don't come close to Sam, trust me. Or at least I haven't seen anyone that's come close personally yet. But I think the worst is yet to come. So I will admit, for the Fighters Collection and the new G units they got are pretty damn stupid. But with the new support around the corner for Set 4, I really think Mega Colony is going to go from here to here. So stay tuned. Next question comes from Luminio Bladder. Hi, Jaden. Did you hear of the new Phantom Blaster Dragon Break Ride? Yeah, I know these questions are really late because I've been gone for a long time, but I think, yeah, it's apparent I have by now. But if so, could you make a video giving your thoughts about it? You're one of my favorite Vanguard tubers, and this card is my avatar because I built my first Vanguard deck around it, and it did help me out. It was always there when I needed it. Thank you. Well, first off, thank you very much. I'm really glad that you like my videos, and that really means a lot. I remember I think the third or fourth deck that I built that was another clan was Shadow Paladin when Phantom Blaster Dragon first came out. Phantom Blaster Dragon Break Ride. It is a good card. It is overpriced by a lot. The one thing this card does is it gives, if you want to play the original Phantom Blaster Dragon, if you want to play the Phantom Blaster Overlord, you can do it now, have a cross-ride body, and have a break ride with it. So they kind of did the same thing with Overlord for Kagero, but this time they did it for Shadow Paladin. I really, this card, it is good, but it doesn't change how you play against Shadow Paladin at all. Because here's what I mean. The secret against Shadow Paladin, the Abyss deck, was to guard early. That way, when your opponent did go into Abyss and to Legion and to use the skill, you could hopefully just not worry about one of the attacks and only deal with one of them, or sometimes neither one of them. But with this, it's the same thing. Yeah, he gains plus 10k to crit, and he has to use a Glory skill and Soul Blast 3. But it doesn't change. It doesn't change how you approach the game if you are the opponent and going against Phantom Blaster Dragon. It's good because Phantom Blaster Dragon is one of my favorite cards. But I think this card is grossly overpriced. There are sites that are pre-selling it for as high as $80 plus, and that is way over the line. It is a good card. It is not $80 good. I'm sorry. But is it good? Yes. Is it going to be around in the meta? Yes. Is it going to be popular? Hell yes. There's a lot of bandwagoning Shadow Paladin fans, and it really is getting irritating. But this card is going to be around, but the secret, guys, is just guard early. And just be prepared to deal with that Phantom Blaster Dragon attack. Keep in mind, they're not, even if they use it with Abyss, they're not going to be able to get that skill off twice, more than likely. So it's really not going to affect you. Unless they literally draw all their Margles and shove them in the soul, there's really not much you have to worry about. It's highly unlikely they're going to be able to use that Break Ride skill with both of them. And I'm sorry if I just see other ways around this card that I'll get into more about later, but it's going to be good. But there's also ways around it. So, I know there was a lot of people who really got really mad about the card. And it's good, but it was kind of like the whole thing with Phantom Blaster Diablo. Phantom Blaster Diablo is it is a good card with an amazing effect. But it is not as OP as the Shadow Paladin fanboys made it out to be. And there were some people that was praising it to be the best card in the game. And what I mean by fanboys is these people who take the card and make it past what it's meant to be. Phantom Blaster Diablo is by far the best card to ever come in a trial deck, but it is not the best card ever. Because in my honest opinion, the Shadow Paladin support in set 3 is more consistent. That's my opinion. But Phantom Blaster Diablo is still a good card, but... And as for the Phantom Blaster Dragon Break Ride, it is good, and I'm going to try and pick up a playset as long as I can pick them up reasonably, but it's not one of my top priorities. But it is definitely a good card. I can appreciate it from the standpoint that it was one of the first decks that I built. I mean, I think my first 2 decks was Kagero and Royal Paladin, and then I think I built. I don't know what I think my third one was Oracle Think Tank, was the Tsukiyomi build, and then I think when set 3 or 4 rolled around, whichever the Shadow Paladins debuted in, I think it was 3. I went and built Shadow Paladins. So I appreciate the Shadow Paladin lineage, because I'm glad they kind of went back to Phantom Blast Dragon, because I was getting really sick and tired of seeing people play Abyss. Because I'm sorry, there was so many Shadow Paladin bandwagoning fans, it was unreal. And the final question for this video comes from Alex Cruz. Hey Jaden, just saw the Cardfight Vanguard movie Neon Messiah. Subbed is wondering if you've seen it yet, and if so, what did you think of it? Also, another question, do you think deleting is even relevant now with Stride? Yes, I have seen the movie. It's on YouTube, plenty of places. If you haven't, and it does have English subtitles, I have seen it. Honestly, I was kind of disappointed. I thought the movie could have been a lot better. There was just a lot of just animation. There wasn't talking. There was just, I mean, it was fun and it was nice to see, but I wished for more. Overall, if I was a movie rater, I would give it 2.5, 3 stars out of 5. You know, I mean, there was so much more they could have done, and they just didn't. If you have been watching season 5, it gives you a little bit more background on Ibuki. So there was a lot more they could have done with this movie, you know. But the animation and the art and was absolutely amazing. But I would have wished for more. And is deleting even relevant now? Guys, deleting, in my opinion, hasn't even been relevant before Stride. And I know that sounds extremely egocentric, but I really don't mean it that way. Deleters, in my opinion, they're a one-trick pony. Because unless you can purposely set it up and you draw the right combination of cards to continue doing it, it kind of just falters. I never had trouble with the deleter deck. I really haven't. I mean, I can't even recall losing to deleters. And just because if you know how to play against them, and it just like you just guard early, so when they do eventually delete you, you can just go fine, no guard. There was so much there that they could have done with deleters, and they just kind of made the cost so high, and it was kind of hard to see it from a standpoint of whether it was going to be meta. Now with Stride being a thing, it's not relevant at all. And because if your Vanguard is deleted and you Stride, this G unit will still have the power that's on the G unit, so it will still have a power of 15,000 power. So it really kind of wastes that. It gets rid of the 11k boost that you would get from the Stride, but it's with a boost, you're still going to be hitting at least 21. So I really just don't see deleting doing anything, unless they can come up with a new way to basically negate, if you Stride on top of it, you also take that power over. But if you are deleted and you Stride, you do get the power from the G unit's base. So make sure you are aware of that. So anyway, guys, this has been a Q&A video. It went a little bit longer than I intended, but there was a lot of things I wanted to talk about. So thank you very much, guys, for all your continued support, being patient with me when I was gone, dealing with a lot of things, and just getting back in the swing of things. So thank you very, very, very much, guys. It really, really means a lot. I can't stress to you enough how much y'all support what it means. So I will get back to making videos more consistently and posting for you guys. I've missed doing them for you, so I hope please in the comment section below leave me some feedback, and also how my Q&A videos work. Leave me a question that you would like me to answer on my next Q&A. And I tell you what, why don't you leave Q&As, questions down below for both me, Christian, and Sam. Maybe on my next Q&A we'll do it while we're at our hotel at Nationals, and we will do a Q&A, and all of us will answer your questions. So leave us your questions, and we will answer them for you. So thank you very much, guys, and make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, leave some questions and feedback below, and I will see you next time.